We have some breaking news that just came out as Ilya Samsanov has officially been put on waivers in what is a semi-surprising move. A lot of Leafs fans didn't expect it to happen this early, but it officially did on New Year's Eve. So I'm going to break all that down in this episode of Leafs Digest. Before we do, a quick reminder to hit the subscribe button. We are on the road to 6,000 subscribers. About 80% of you guys who are watching right now are not subscribed. So if you aren't already, scroll down and click that button. Now, Darius, some people may have expected this. You made a video on it yesterday discussing the Samsonov after his really poor outing last time, a couple nights ago. And Elliot Friedman came out and tweeted, you can see it here, Ilya Samsanov is on waivers. Now, there's a lot to break down. There's a lot of different implications this has. So I just want to get your initial reaction on this. Are you surprised it happened, I guess, this soon? Or do you think it's well-deserved and well-needed for Ilya Samsanov?
I think it happened right on time. Like it's the most surprising, non-surprising move the Leafs have made this season or in a long time to me, because the writing was on the wall. You knew it was coming. If you look at his stats, his goals against average, 3.94. It's 58th in the league. So,
Yeah.
like, do the math. He's technically the worst goaltender in the league, or close to it. And his save percentage is 862, which is unplayable. Unplayable. Absolutely terrible. Again, 58th in the entire league, and his record has not been good this year. It's 5-2-6. He's been terrible, like flat out. And the games against Columbus, again, absolutely terrible. You have to win that game. You need points. And if you look at it from the Leaf standpoint, you need wins, you need saves. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what this player is going through. You have to kind of protect him and also do what's best for your hockey team. So on the Samsonov side of things, I hope he, is okay. I hope he finds it, because it's clearly a mental thing. Like, we know the skill is there. So I just hope he finds it. And I think this is the first step to finding it. They're going to bury him in the AHL. They're going to save some salary. It's not the full thing, but they're going to save like 1.25 million on the cap or something like that. So a little bit in dead cap still. But I don't know. This was much needed. They need to get his confidence back up. And I think there's somebody waiting that we'll get to in the Marlies that could make a difference for the Leafs.
Yeah, Martin Jones has obviously been playing very well, and you mentioned it. You can see this article here. Feel free to pause if you want, but he last played on December 29th, just 2 days ago, in a game that they needed to win, a game that Samsonov needed to have, and unfortunately he did not have it. And he had a pretty good season last year with the Leafs. He had the Tampa series. There was a lot going for him coming into this season, and then it all kind of just crumbled down. We were thinking once Joseph Woll went down, Martin Jones wasn't even a factor at this point. Maybe this is Ilya Samsonov time to get in a rhythm, get in a routine, and finally be able to bring back some sort of semblance of what he was last year. And that did not happen at all. He ultimately ended up being one of the worst goalies in the league. We don't suspect he's going to be claimed by any other team. And the quote is from the team that they are giving him a reset and they got a plan to help him. And you kind of mentioned that plan, which is assuming just to get him some reps in the AHL. Hopefully he does well. And as of right now, who knows? Martin Jones has been playing very well. Keefe spoke out yesterday, even though he lost, and basically praised them. He held him to 2 goals. He's been doing fine so far throughout the season. And we're great signing by Brad Treliving getting him in, but I don't know, a weird time to be, I guess, Ilya Samsonov and to be a Leafs fan, because the team is playing weird. The goalie who was projected to be their 1A this season is now out of the team or not on the team anymore. And Joseph Woll is our only hope, along with Martin Jones when he comes back. And I think when Joseph Woll comes back, Jones immediately slots into that 1B.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you touched on quickly too, Samsonov last year was a 919 and a 2.33 goals against average. That's a completely different player. That's a really good goalie. So I don't know what's happened this year. He has to find it mentally. And like we touched on it, he's gonna be able to do that with the Marlies. He's gonna get some reps in. The pressure's kind of off. Okay, let's just play your game, get back to what you can do. But yeah, and like you touched on as well, Martin Jones, he's been good. And like Keith said, he kept them to 2 goals. That's exactly where you want to be. Obviously, you want a shutout or 1 goal against. But 2 goals, if you're only allowing 2 goals a game, you should win majority of those games, barring bad luck or anything like that. So yeah, it's just been a weird season. They got to figure out the defense too. But honestly, it's crazy how at this point, heading into the new year, the Leafs' biggest problem is, again, goaltending. It's like the never-ending cycle. They have to figure this out. And I think they did have it figured out until Joseph Woll went down. Obviously, Martin Jones has stepped up. It's been good for the Leafs, but like, what do you do with this guy who was supposed to be your number 1 goaltender, your starting goaltender? He was the guy for you. So it's just been an awkward season.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. Defense has been a problem throughout the whole year, but now the biggest one is goaltending, which is a little bit funny, I guess, in a way. Now, Brad Living has a lot more work to do. And assuming Samsonov clears, he will report to the AHL team. Now, I'll let you quickly touch on who you think is next up to be the Leafs' backup goalie. I'm kind of showing him on the screen right now, but I'm going to let you take it over for a second. It's a 22-year-old, and do you think they're going to throw him into the fire early? I saw some reports saying that they might not do that. They don't want to rush and stunt his development, but I don't know what other option they have at this point, because Martin Jones is the third goalie coming into the season, and this guy seems to be on the way. If not, then I don't know what else their plan will be.
Listen, after Luke Shen, like how many ever years ago it was, like 14, 15, 16 years ago, I'm usually on the team of let guys develop and let them kind of grow into the player they're going to be. I'm usually on that side. It's time to unleash the Hildebeest, all right? Everyone has a nickname for him now. He's playing amazing in the Marlies, all right? He has a 919 in the Marlies, his first pro season, 220 goals against average, sorry. And he's just looked good. He looked confident. He's made some huge saves, especially in their game last night too, to keep them in these games, because the Marlies are not necessarily a really flashy or offensively gifted team. But he has looked very good, and I think it's time to just give him the reins. He has a bunch of pro games away from the, in total, in general, under his belt already. He's not a kid. Like, I think he's 22 years old at this point. He's going to be 23 next year. He's not a child. We don't have to baby him. He's got some pro reps under him. Let's get him in there, see what he can do. Like, obviously, he's not, the savior all of a sudden. Let's see what he can do, because he looks confident. The numbers back him up. And he's supposed to be the guy anyway down the road. This is the guy that they're kind of prepping to take over the net anyway. So let's just see what he has. Let's just see what he has at the NHL level.
Yeah, and you can see based on the stats, the huge jump from last season with the Marlies posting, albeit only 2 games, still a 5 GAA. He's been unbelievable throughout his entire professional career, dating back to 2018-2019 season. This season, 2.2 GAA, you mentioned it, 919 save percentage in 15 games. He seems to be the guy, he's only 22 years old, like you mentioned, who the Leafs are is kind of the goalie of the future, along with Joseph Woll, of course, has kind of shined this year. He's a 4th-round pick, and I think ultimately he's the guy who might get the call, unless they don't want to risk it. But I think you said he has tons of experience. He might have enough experience to slide into that slot, and if not, it could mean that a potential trade is coming for another veteran backup guy. Goalies aren't the easiest to find, especially out in the trade market, especially when you're kind of, it would be dumpster diving at this point for a goalie. Most teams aren't willing to trade their goalie or anything like that. And maybe there's a couple teams out there who want Ilya Samsanov, just a guy who has NHL experience or really don't know, but this is just kind of the immediate reaction. And I don't know, I agree with you. I think it's time to unleash him. Any quick final thoughts before we wrap up?
Yeah, I would say for anyone who wants to upgrade this position through trade, I'm not sure the answer is through the trade, whether it be deadline or just, a trade next month. I don't think the answer is there.
Mm-hmm.
I think Samsonov has to find his game. That's what it is. The skill hasn't disappeared. It's clearly a mental thing. He has to find his game. So, let's not write him off as a Leaf yet. All right. Let's just say that. I think he can still find it. And again, let's give Hilda a chance too, because he can run away with it as well. Joseph Woll's coming back from injury at some point. Like, he'll be back in like a month, maybe less. So let's just see what we have. I don't think you want to, press the panic button on a trade. I think you want to save those trade chips for a defenseman, which is somewhere you need to upgrade through trade. So let's just pump the brakes a little bit, see what we have in the minors. There's a lot of options. I think the answers are in the organization.
Yeah, let us know your thoughts on that in the comments down below. That'll wrap up the video. Let us know. If you want to check out a video from yesterday, click on your screen now. We'll see you tomorrow.